And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It is Tuesday, somehow or another. Big show lined up coming up 7 a.m. I hope you'll come back for that episode as we'll get into things going on. Chris Walker, good morning there. Mark, morning, Alan. So many of you up and Adam as we start stirring around. It's going to be a beautiful day. The bad part is we're going to have some rain in it. 70% chance to wet stuff. Moving in sometime after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, highs won't be as bad. We should reach about 88. Maybe that old heat index will start climbing into the upper 90s, but under 100, and the regular temperature hanging at 88. Detailed forecast up and coming right around the corner. We'll tell you all about that. Issue with YouTube, I'm being told, several people saying here. We will look at that. We'll be right back in just a moment and see if we can't get that figured out. All that's on the way. Let's go to Collinsville now.
When you were growing up, who did you imitate? Was there someone or a celebrity that you wanted to dress like, maybe you wanted to act like, you wanted to be like? Well, you know, school starts back. I kind of think back to my childhood, and part of my morning routine was watching Sports Center as I got ready for school, really from elementary to high school. You know, there were certain players, someone like Albert Pujols, who was a Major League Baseball player, that I would see and I would try to emulate. I tried to bat like him, catch like him, all that. Well, for us in the Christian life, we're called to imitate Christ. 3 John 11 says, "Dear friend, do not imitate what's evil, but what is good." Earlier in the chapter, there was a guy who was causing issues in the church, and John is saying, look, don't be like that guy. Be like Jesus. This is important because, well, the rest of it says this: the one who does good is of God, and the one who does evil has not seen God. What this boils down to is that if you have realized the depth of your sin and trusted in Christ, there's a change that happens in your life. I heard it put this way once: if you know Christ, your life is about direction, not perfection. You won't be perfect, and you can't be, and you never will. That's why Jesus came. But if we know Jesus, then the overall direction of our life should point to Him in a way over time. Think about your life. What direction have you been going? And does it point to Jesus? Is it going towards Jesus? If not, then ask yourself, do I know Christ? Have I made the decision to follow Him, to repent of my sins and place my faith and my trust in His death and resurrection? Remember, change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Welcome back. I think the issues with our YouTube is working now. I don't know what caused that. Sometimes it gets the hibby-jibbies. Had a computer do that earlier this morning about 3:15. They didn't want to cooperate with me. Sometimes they just can't wake up, can they? Already 6:30, what is it, 6:34 this morning. A lot going on in our nation. We're going to tackle a few of these so that you're aware of what's happening around you. It's always good to know what's happening next door, isn't it? As we start today, it was a lot of scaredness about today. It would have been the day that the tariffs went into effect for Japan. They have been pushed off China, rather. China, let me get that right, Japan. Is China that they have postponed for another 90 days as they try to work all of this out. Apparently something wasn't quite where they wanted it. We don't know the whole truth and nothing but the truth yet, but we get 90 extra days there before they go into effect. We'll see what happens with this. Now, you don't hear as much. What is this, 2025? What year was it that we lost Dale Earnhardt? It was during the 90s, was it not?
Yeah.
His name is just as big. You just don't hear it as much every day. Well, they've got the same thing going on in his hometown that we've got going on in the Meridian area, and that is the talk of a data center. They're battling over a $30 billion data center that would go on his property, which is 400 acres that would be on Dale Earnhardt's land. His widow is wanting to push this through. One of his sons is not so sure of it and is fighting it and urging the townspeople not to do it. He says his dad wouldn't want that on his land. He loved hunting and fishing, and he just doesn't agree with it. But it would bring jobs to the area and a bunch of things. What do you think? Mooresville is where the place is. North Carolina. Mooresville, North Carolina. North of Charlotte's where the place is. Is he 2001, Brian says, is when, and also Donald. Boy, everybody knows these years here. What do y'all think? Is that wrong of the widow to do that? I'm assuming it's hers and she can do as she wishes, but it doesn't seem as though one of the sons, his oldest son, doesn't want that. Now, I don't think this would work on the rural route because of the traffic we have. But in the larger cities, when you go on vacation, you see this, golf carts. They're starting to become a part of your everyday travel. If you live within a city, it's easier to jump on a golf cart, run to the store, and run back home than it would be somewhere on the rural route like most of us live in these areas. Cars get up to high speeds and it just wouldn't work out with a golf cart. But large cities, I can see it working, and it's becoming more and more popular throughout the U.S. of A. as towns start to adopt this. And you're right, Debbie, he was a businessman for sure. He would have approved that. Kim, good morning there, all the way from Quitman, Mississippi. Bad news is we go to Pennsylvania this morning. We have 2 people that have died in a factory explosion. At least 10 people were hurt yesterday. This would be Pennsylvania where all this went on. I don't have the names of the 2 people who lost their lives yet, but condolences to the family, whatever the name is. That's a hard pill to swallow. They're reporting this to be the truth. We often see people come forth, and they call them whistleblowers. When they see something, they're in a work environment, they go, something is not right here. We go to Kentucky, and her name is Melissa Mormon. She was an employee of the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and she was fired. This was some time back. Why did she get fired? She blew the whistle, and again, this is alleged, that there was a scheme going on to give illegal aliens, if they paid $200, driver's license through the state of Kentucky. She blew the whistle. She was fired. She said it went on at least 4 to 5 times a day. Now, will something be done since there's a new administration? This happened before Donald Trump came in. Will something be done about it? Will it be investigated to find out if the whistleblower is telling the truth? Now, you've got to remember, Kentucky is not quite in the South and it's not quite in the North. It's one of those states that's kind of a border state. It can go either way from time to time. It's not like it's a huge conservative state. We'll see what happens with this. But if it happened in Kentucky, imagine the extreme places that pushed in all these states that are, allowing people to stay there that are there against the law. Could be worse cases of this is what I'm getting to. As we go to Cincinnati, Ohio, have you ever been there? It's a nice place. It's big, except it's got one problem, crime. It's being overridden by crime because it has leaders that, doesn't quite toe the mark on the letter of the law, in my opinion. That's my opinion. The 7th suspect out of 8 has been arrested in that mob attack on that couple. You've seen it by now. The 7th out of 8 has been arrested. What will happen to these people, we don't know. Hopefully justice will be served. This is big. Big money. I don't know a lot about wrestling. I've never watched all that, but I do know this name, Dana White now.
It's UFC.
UFC, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's fight.
Yeah, that's fighting. Okay. I don't know as much about all of that, but I know all these UFC. This guy's big. He was on vacation, rarely took a vacation, came back to attend the Republican National Convention to say something nice about Trump. He has made a deal with Paramount Pictures, Paramount, the company. They will pay for a 7-year deal, $7.7 billion to carry the UFC. And Odie apparently knows what the UFC is. That's the what now?
Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Ultimate Fighting Champion. Is that different than regular wrestling and all that?
This is straight up fight.
Okay. You have to have Old Milwaukee to watch that, don't you?
This is good.
As a kid, they used to joke about that. Old man sitting in front of it, watching it with a 6-pack of Slits, I think it was back in the day. I've never been a big fan of that, but apparently there is big money in it. $7.7 billion, that's a little over $1 billion a year. I could say he could probably take his vacation now. When is enough though, Odie? Do they ever...
Well, he'll end up paying a lot of that out.
Oh, it's taxes coming, trust me.
But I'm talking about to the players because he doesn't have the string that he's got now.
My, oh my, but $7 billion. I can't even count that on my toes. let's and let me show you this picture. And I'm going to give you the figures. I'm not going to give you my opinion, but you can do the arithmetic on this. From Texas, and I only know her because I saw a video, and it seems like it was in the halls of the Texas Senate, and I thought, well, that's kind of peculiar. They were singing and dancing around an office, and I thought, well, that's peculiar. And that made me realize who she was. I looked it up. Let me show you her picture. This is Jasmine Crockett. She is a U.S. House of Representative from Texas, 30th District. Very outspoken here lately. The numbers are out. This is what's been put out there, and this is, of course, alleged, as we often look at numbers. She's being investigated by DOGE. You know, that little group that Elon used to be a part of. She's purchased 3 homes. She makes $174,000 a year. The purchases, though, totaled over $10 million. Anybody want to do the arithmetic? $174,000 a year, and you're able to purchase 3 homes valued at $10 million. We ain't accusing anybody of anything. We're just saying my Casio calculator is not adding up to that. You do the math yourself and see what you can come up with on that. Dr. Phil. How many of us like him? If I remember correctly, wasn't it Odie back in the day that he got his big break from Oprah? Didn't she give him that break? He was a guest on her show, and then she started that, I don't know, Oxygen or Oprah Network, and he got his own show, and then it became on a regular daytime show as he was a psychologist. Well, since then, he's branched on, closed that down, and now he's given political thoughts, his ways on that. And I read this article, and he gives all this where he said, I'm not really political, but the 2 things that I took out of it. And he says he keeps 2 things in his Rolls Royce at all given times, just in case he needs one or the other. One is a tennis racket. The other is a shotgun. Dr. Phil in a Rolls Royce. You take your pick what you want him to do. I remember as a kid watching somebody play tennis. Terry, my friend here in town, she's a big tennis player. There's a lot of moving around with that. That'll wear you down. Y'all be careful playing that. What will happen with this? I have no idea. But it looks as though it's going before, and I'll tell you why America is great in a moment. The Supreme Court is going to relook at that landmark decision of same-sex marriage. Now, I did not say that they're going to overturn this or change this. I just said simply the Supreme Court is going to relook into this case. If there's any change of this, I'll let you know. And I can't remember that lady that got into all the trouble in that courthouse that refused to do it. She was one of the first. I can vividly remember. It's been so long. But as I said, I'll tell you why America is great. We are the land of the free, the home of the brave, and mostly people are allowed to do what they want if they don't break the law. There's some that break the law that doesn't quite understand it, but Indonesia is where we go. We have 2 men that's been arrested. Again, you're going to say America's great after I tell you the story. They were arrested, thrown in jail for 4 months. What were they accused of? Well, someone saw them go into a restroom together. Someone tipped the police. They went in, kicked the bathroom stall down, and these 2 dudes were kissing. Nothing wrong with that in America, is it? You can do that if you like. The problem in Indonesia, you can't do that. They were arrested for kissing. They've been in jail for 4 months, and they are going to get time served for those 4 months for doing that. They will get 1 lick off for each one of those. They were sentenced to 85 to be tied down and hit with a stick 85 times. They'll get 1 off for each month they were in jail. It'll be somewhere around 80 to 81 licks that they will take for doing that. That's Islamic. There's a lot of people that push for things like that to happen into the U.S. of A. of bringing their thoughts to America. I don't think they've really looked into what happens in these other countries when it comes to punishment. That's very severe of what they're going to do. If you've ever watched any of this, it happens in these foreign countries as an example of this, of when they take you to the court square and do this, it is not pretty. Again, America is a great place. We have court systems. We won't even get into what happens if you're accused of stealing in a country like that. Now, I'm trying to think what the law reads. The way this reads, the version of their Islamic law allows up to 100 lashes for offenses, including same-sex. Caning is also a punishment if you're caught having adultery on your spouse, gambling, drinking, and for women who wear tight clothes, and for men who skip their Friday prayers. They're serious over there. And again, I'll move on and say America is a wonderful place to live. Let's talk about D.C. of what's going on there. I stumbled across this early this morning as I sat down. I was preparing for this. How bad is it that you have to leave a burglar a note in your window? Well, that happened in Washington, D.C. of a mother who was working. I don't know whose picture this is, so I won't show the picture. But she left a note and taped it to her window. Said, "My car has been broken in 5 times. Please don't break my window. I have nothing of value." It's a common occurrence. When you stay at a hotel here, it could happen to you as well. What am I talking about? What's going on in D.C. with the crime? We see that the D.C. police commander has been suspended. Why? He's accused of changing the crime statistics. And what that means is I can't think of the proper word for it. I won't use the word that went through my head. He changed the numbers. We'll leave it at that. It's like showing up here and you know that it's a robbery and you go, oh, they just took something. But it was truly a robbery and you change it to it's shoplifting or something like that.
Like a shopping cart. Who cares?
Shopping cart. Yeah, who cares? It was crime. Here's some numbers. D.C. had the highest homicide rate in the United States in 24, a rate of 27.3 homicides per 100,000 people. It's almost 6 times higher than New York's rate. It's 4 times the rate of L.A. New York, New Jersey there, it is doubles theirs. And D.C. beat out Atlanta and Chicago as well. Oakland, all of these places. As of yesterday, if you watched it, he has deployed 800 guardsmen and has taken over the police there. It is now being run by the federal government as guardsmen have been deployed there to, straighten up the streets. We've had too many murders. There's a lot of people that don't agree with this. Crime is out of hand. We can't have our nation's capital to where you can't walk down the street. Murders are awful. People are getting robbed. Something has to be done. Trump says that he will push to have this no bail changed. Have you seen this to where you check in and you check out and you don't pay any bail? Well, he's wanting to have that fixed. Judge Jenny, you know who I'm talking about? She just got appointed. She got into it with a reporter yesterday. They said, but crime is down. And she goes, whoa, wait a minute. What are you comparing this to? Crime was up. It's down 1% from what it was last year. And you think crime is down? She gave him an earful. And she was right. Do you remember the guy, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, right? Tim Kaine, wasn't he the guy that you never really heard from that stood next to Hillary? Wasn't that?
Tim Kaine was the vice president
for Kamala. For Kamala. I don't know that I ever heard him say anything when he was with her other than smile and look like he couldn't do the job. He made a statement about this yesterday. Senator Tim Kaine on Monday called the federal takeover of D.C. a waste of taxpayer dollars. Crime in D.C. is at a 30-year low, he said. He called the takeover an unnecessary escalation of clearly designated to district Americans from issues like rising prices and incompetence from the Trump administration. If the president really cared about the safety in D.C., he wrote, he would have immediately deployed the National Guard on January the 6th. That's Tim Kaine's version of what's going on.
He requested that be done, and Congress shut him down.
He did request that, if we remember all of that. There's a lot coming out on this. Here's something that is sad I saw in South Carolina. 2 women have been found deceased basically in a wooded area 100 miles from their home. One was, I believe, 36, the other 38 years old. They have no clue what has happened. An investigation has been launched as to what has become of them. Beto O'Rourke, we talked about this yesterday. He won't be allowed now to give money to the Texas Democrats who fled the city. We're moving into the second week of this. We'll come back to that. How do y'all feel about this? As I look around, is it's medical marijuana? I truly don't have a problem with, because I do believe it helps people. The, what do you call it, recreational, I'm not so sure of. Trump says he is looking at reclassifying this as not to be in marijuana, reclassifying it to where it's not a major drug anymore. Basically, it'd be to where you're not arrested for this. I smell skunks everywhere I go now. I mean, it's rough. Yeah. It's like one skunk after another. And I'm not sure I'm for this. Y'all decide. I don't have the answers to that. As we look at what happened in Milwaukee last week as rain came through, you think of this as the 911 was issued, 614 rescues were made with rising water. Well, you'd have to break the dive team out on that, Odie.
Yeah.
Serious stuff there. Again, we talked about that one. Let me see here. We had one more thing. The Jonas Brothers reunited. You remember them from
I'm going to go to see them.
with fellow Camp Rock star Demi Lovato. Well, that's real nice. I didn't listen to them when they were popular, and Taylor Swift, all of you that are out there, she's announced the name of her new album. It's called The Life of a Showgirl, in case you were waiting to go purchase that. We got so much more coming up. We're going to look at your forecast next. That's just a few of the headlines that are shaping America this morning.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Heblon Heating and Air Conditioning to save the day. We can keep you comfortable with special savings for your home, like up to $3,000 off new HVAC, $69. Keep the power on with a generator. Get $200 off installs and 0% financing for 60 months. We do it all at Heblon Heating and Air Conditioning and offer financing options for any repair or installation. Call for a free quote or visit us online at HeblonHeatingandCooling.com.
Collinsville, Mr. Discount Drugs, your local pharmacy and gift shop, thanks you for your continued support. Whether you shop with us in-store, through our app, over the phone, or in our drive-thru, our team will provide the best personalized customer service experience you expect from your local pharmacy. When you call or message us, you are promptly greeted by the Mr. Discount team that's ready to help. When you choose our pharmacy, you're choosing a locally owned pharmacy that cares about you and your community. Collinsville, Mr. Discount Drugs makes a difference.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
Our record highs and record lows were set back in 54 at 103 today. Back in 67, we had a low of 57. Today's high should be somewhere right around 88 is what we're expecting there. Nothing yet from Jackson on the temperatures. As we go to Alabama, we'll see that Demopolis, 86. Even a nice, cool 85 there in Birmingham. Look at this as we get to that eastern side of Bama. Anniston at 83. Auburn should be 82 today. That'll be fall-like weather, won't it? A little rain in their forecast, but that's okay. Not bad at all. As we come across dangerous heat stress today is going to be west. We'll put that somewhere right around Morton and back westward there. Carthage, it should be kind of warm for you. On the east side of the state, it's better for us. We'll have to wait till tomorrow for the rest of the week as those temperatures will start moving into our area as that temperature climbs. We'll see 110 west of Jackson, and back east to the Bama state line here around the Meridian area, we should see 105 tomorrow. Moving into the week. As we look at this all across the U.S. of A, warm here in Mississippi as we see it start to move in now from Texas. It'll make its way before the week is out. We should see that high today again at 88, but we have that 70% chance of showers moving in sometime this afternoon. Right after about 1 p.m., we should start seeing showers. Low tonight of 72 will increase to an 80% chance of rain on Wednesday. By Thursday, it's no better, really. 60% chance, down to a 40% chance on Friday. And by the weekend, 30% chance all the way through Monday. We'll have mid-90s for highs, nighttime lows of 72 to about 74. As we go all the way through August the 26th. Upper 80s to mid-90s mostly is what we'll see, not more than 93. 20% chance of rain, still staggering each day through about the 26th. Not bad. Nighttime lows right around 70. What happens with our fishing forecast? Pretty good today. Calm wind becoming southeast around 5 miles an hour this afternoon. Perfect time to fish will be between 3 and 5 today. And you've got a minor time this morning, somewhere around 9 to 10 a.m. to go. Sunrise happened at 6:16 this morning. Sunset, if you'll notice, is getting moved back 30 seconds to a minute nearly each day. We're at 7:42 for the sunset. Enjoy it while we got it there. Not bad at all. Let's take a look here at the tropics of what we've got this morning. 0% chance of anything happening here in the Gulf of America. 10% here. And as we look at Aaron most likely will not affect the states at this point unless something changes there. Tropical storm Aaron is developed 46 miles an hour. Gust of 58 miles an hour moving west at 22 miles an hour is what we've got from the National Hurricane Center. We'll update this here in just a little bit. A new update will be coming out fairly soon before you know it. Already 6:57. We're going to take a quick break and be back live with the morning show. It's almost time to go hit the button to go live on that. We'll be right back. Join us, won't you? It all gets underway live and local at 7 at the Scotty Ray Report.